The alien princess froze as her soulmate indicator glowed after touching a human guard. The royal palace of Lasara floated above a sea of violet clouds, held aloft by ancient energy cores older than written history. Its towers shimmered like carved moonlight, and its bridges pulsed with living crystal veins. From a distance, it looked like a kingdom built on a dream. But inside, tension simmered, political threats, rumors of rebellion, and a prophecy whispered only in shadows. Princess Lyra Viseria, the first heir of Lasara, walked through the gleaming corridors with poise that came from years of discipline. Her hair shimmered like strands of silver flame. Her eyes carried the calm of nebulous storms. She wore the traditional glowing wrist circlet, an ancient Lasarian device tied to destiny itself. The Soulmate indicator, a living crystal bound to the heart, glowing only once in a Lasarian's lifetime. Only once. Only for the one fated to them. Lyra secretly never believed it would glow for her. Not because she lacked hope, she simply lacked time. As the heir, she was always chained to duties, ceremonies, training, diplomacy. Romance did not fit into her carefully arranged life. Until the night everything changed. The night she touched a human. Earth's alliance had recently sent a small security unit to help protect Lasara's palace from rising threats. Humans were physically strong, resourceful, and, importantly, unpredictable in ways Lasaria's enemies didn't understand. The Royal Council had agreed to hire 5 human guards. One of them was Sergeant Damon Cross. He wasn't noble, he wasn't genetically enhanced, and he wasn't born under a constellation like Lysarians. He was simply a soldier, a disciplined, rough-edged, quiet human with a scar on his jaw and a calmness that felt older than his years. Princess Lyra barely noticed him at first, but Damon noticed her. Not with infatuation, not with hunger, just with a strange, soft respect he didn't show anyone else. He stood straighter when she entered. He watched corners others ignored. He assessed threats before anyone else sensed danger. His instincts were sharp. And yet, whenever she looked at him, he lowered his gaze, as if afraid to be caught staring at someone far above him. One evening, as Lyra prepared to meet the ambassadors of 3 rival moons, her attendants ran nervously around her, adjusting her ceremonial cloak, polishing her silver armlet, styling her shimmering hair. When she stepped toward the exit, her foot caught on a strand of her cloak that hadn't been secured. She stumbled. A strong hand caught her arm. A warm, human hand. Her eyes shot up. Damon. He had reacted faster than any Lasarian could have. Faster than her own royal guards. "Careful, Your Highness," Damon murmured. His voice was low, quiet, steady. But the moment his hand touched her, the palace air shifted. The lights flickered, and her wrist circlet exploded into radiant crimson glow. The Soulmate indicator. The sacred light Lysarians waited entire lifetimes for. It pulsed violently, glowing brighter than any court record had ever described, casting red light across Damon's stunned face. Princess Lyra froze. Her breath left her body. Her heartbeat roared in her ears. Every Lasarian in the corridor gasped and dropped to their knees. "Your Highness," one whispered, trembling. It glowed. Lyra could barely speak. "Damon," she breathed, staring at their touching hands. His eyes widened as he slowly withdrew, uncertain whether he had just violated sacred protocol or saved her life. "I'm sorry, Princess," Damon said softly. "I didn't mean—" "It glowed," she whispered again. "It what did?" She lifted her wrist. The circlet blazed like stolen fire. "No," Damon whispered. "That can't be for me." But fate didn't care. The ancient crystal didn't lie. The palace erupted in whispers instantly, whispers that soon spread through the kingdom like wildfire. The heir's soulmate is a human. A mere guard. Impossible. Unacceptable. Damon didn't speak. He looked as though the world had turned inside out. Lyra felt numb. Not afraid. Not angry. Just overwhelmed. She dismissed her entourage with a trembling voice and commanded Damon to follow her into a private chamber. Inside, the air was quiet, thick with unspoken truths. She turned to him slowly. "Sergeant Cross," she whispered, "do you know what the glowing means?" He swallowed. "The others mentioned something. Destiny? Bonds?" "I didn't listen closely. I assumed it would never involve me." "It means," she said softly, "my heart has chosen you." Damon took a step back, as though struck. "That's not possible. I'm human. You're a Lysarian heir," she finished. "Yes, princess. Our kinds don't. We don't pair. It's not how your traditions work." Lyra looked down at her glowing wrist. "It's not tradition, Damon. It's biology. Ancient energy. Fate woven into our species." She looked up at him, eyes shimmering with confusion. "And it's never wrong." Damon exhaled shakily. "I'm not special," he said quietly. "I'm just a soldier. I've lost battles. Lost people. I don't fit into your world." Lyra stepped closer. "You touched me, Damon, and my destiny lit up like a sun." He swallowed hard. His breath trembled. For a moment, he looked away to gather himself. Then he whispered, "You deserve someone perfect. Someone royal. Not someone like me." Lyra felt something fierce rise in her chest. "Fate," she said gently, "does not care about perfection." His eyes softened just a little, but outside that room, the world had already begun to crumble. Words spread across the palace. Whispers turned into debates. Debates into outrage. The royal council demanded immediate explanations. The king, Lyra's father, summoned her. King Kaler Viseria was a towering Lysarian with a voice like thunder. He listened in silence as Lyra explained what had happened. Damon stood behind her, head bowed, hands clasped behind his back. When she finished, silence suffocated the room. The king's eyes narrowed. "You touched my daughter?" Damon bowed deeper. "Yes, your majesty. To keep her from falling." "And the circlet glowed?" "Yes." The king's jaw tightened. Then he turned to Lyra. "Do you accept this fate?" he asked. Lyra hesitated. Her heart raced. She looked at Damon, at the uncertainty in his eyes, the quiet strength, the way he stood with dignity even though he clearly believed he didn't belong. She felt something inside her shift. Not destiny. Not prophecy. Something human. Slowly, she nodded. "Yes, father. I accept it." Gasps filled the hall. The council erupted in protest. "This cannot be allowed. He is a human. The heir must bond with Lysarian blood. Break the omen." Damon clenched his jaw, enduring their scorn without a word. The king raised his hand, silencing everyone. "Lyra," he said slowly, "you know what this bond means? Once accepted, it cannot be undone." "I know. And you choose this human?" She stepped forward. "Yes." Damon's breath caught. The king's gaze fell on Damon next. "Human soldier," he said coldly. "Look at me." Damon lifted his head. "Do you accept the bond? Knowing it will bind your life to my daughters and thrust you into dangers far beyond the battlefield." Damon's voice was rough. "Your Majesty," he said, "I didn't seek this. I never would have dared." But he looked at Lyra, and for the first time, she saw something soft in him. "If she truly chooses me," Damon whispered, "I will not run. I'll protect her with everything I am." The hall fell silent. King Kaler finally nodded. So be it. But destiny was never that simple. Within hours, factions across Lasara rebelled, outraged that a human could be bonded to the royal heir. Damon became a target. Attempts were made to remove him quietly. Assassins infiltrated palace walls. Lyra refused to let him out of her sight. When rebels attacked the West Wing, Damon shielded her with his own body, taking a plasma strike to the shoulder. Lyra's scream echoed through the corridors as palace medics rushed him away. She sat beside him until dawn as he recovered, gripping his hand, refusing to let go. When he woke, weak and bandaged, he whispered painfully, "You shouldn't risk your throne for me." Lyra wiped her tears and said, "My throne means nothing if I cannot choose my own heart." Damon stared at her, breath trembling. "You're going to destroy your kingdom for me." "No," she said softly. "I'm going to rebuild it with you." There was a long silence. Then Damon finally spoke the words he had been afraid to say since the night the circlet glowed. "Princess, Lyra, if fate truly chose me, then I won't fight it anymore." Something inside her broke and healed at the same time. She leaned closer, her forehead touching his. "I don't want you to fight it," she whispered. For the first time since the glow, he smiled. A small, tired, utterly human smile. And Lyra felt her soul settle. The soulmate indicator had chosen correctly. Days later, under the twin moons of Lasara, the royal court gathered again. The king announced that the bond between the princess and the human would be honored as fate intended. Some rejoiced. Some raged. Some vowed rebellion. But Lyra didn't care. She stepped beside Damon, her glowing wrist touching his scarred hand. He looked at her the way no noble ever had, with awe, fear, hope, and something deeper. "Are you ready?" she whispered. Damon nodded. "Only if you walk beside me." And so began the story of Lasara's first cross-species soulmate bond, one that would shatter centuries of tradition, ignite revolutions, and rewrite the destiny of a kingdom built on the stars. A princess chosen by fate. A human chosen by courage. Two souls chosen by each other. Their journey had only begun.